So
We're back at it.
the last time I had you on, Matt,
Yep.
we got into the subject of surrogacy and sperm donation.
Here we go.
Here we go again.
Great. I love it. It's a perfect topic.
Am I the asshole for kicking my brother-in-law out after he referred to himself as the father of my child? I know the title is a bit off, but let me explain. Me, 30 female, and my wife, 29 female, welcomed our son into this world a year ago. Both of our families are very accepting of us, but my wife's family has this weird obsession with, quote, passing on the family genes, which made adopting out of the question very early on. Me and my wife have always wanted to start a family, but things got difficult when my wife found out she was infertile. We knew her family would be understanding, but I am terrified of pregnancy. From what I have been told, I'm almost physically identical to my bio mom, who died during childbirth. So that has led me to believe I wouldn't hold a pregnancy very well. After a few months of brainstorming and letdown, mother-in-law suggested that we do IVF, using my eggs and my brother-in-law's sperm, and let my wife carry the baby. I was skeptical at first, but gave in because the plan hit all the marks. Her family get their genes passed on, and my wife and I get to start a family, and I don't have to carry the baby. We went through extensive counseling and therapy to make sure everyone was on the same page and could handle it. The procedure was a bit expensive, but my wife's grandma happily covered the cost since our baby would be the first of the new generation in their family. Everything went great. My wife loved being pregnant, aside from the morning sickness, and we were more than overjoyed to welcome our baby boy in the winter. The problem arose last week. We were preparing for my son's first birthday when brother-in-law made a comment about how he should get a say in the planning as the child's father. I was shocked. I cringed and told him that he wasn't. He just provided the sperm. He looked me straight in the eye and said, quote, yeah, so he's our child. I looked to my wife, whose mouth was wide open and mother-in-law wasn't making eye contact. Before he could say anything else, I demanded that he get out of my house and that he'd be able to come to the party when he apologized. He got angry but left when my wife started to cry. My wife has always struggled with self-esteem, and her infertility really took a toll on her. For months, I had to constantly reassure her that she's an amazing mother and that she wasn't, quote, wrong. She faced a lot of homophobia and misogyny growing up. Sister-in-law called me later that day and called me a bitch. I argue that brother-in-law had no right saying any of that, but sister-in-law kept yelling. Me and my wife have cut all contact with her family. It's turned into something bigger than it needs to be, but I refuse to let someone call my family incomplete again. Call me dramatic, but I grew up with family in and out and never knowing who is real family, and I refuse to let the same happen to my son. Brother-in-law signed away his rights and verbally agreed multiple times that he's just an uncle. He's never had a problem until now, and it's kind of out of the blue. If he was starting to feel more of a connection to my son, then I'd understand if he calmly spoke to my wife and I instead of staking claim. I've reached out to brother-in-law a few times looking for a reason, but he has just thrown insults to my wife and I. My wife is devastated over losing contact, but neither of us want to forgive brother-in-law until he apologizes. So, am I the asshole?
No.
No, not at all.
What a sad situation.
I know.
Oh my God.
Like,
I feel really sad about this.
We need to do a whiteboard somewhere so we can
Keep track?
keep track of all these people. Sister-in-law, brother-in-law, wife. Okay, so
They give some edits that might help. Do you want me to read them first?
I think I got it.
Okay.
But
Have at it.
number one, back to the last episode that we did about this topic.
Mm-hmm. It was the same exact surrogates setup.
Why are you making it complicated? Why are you even going with someone you know? You're only asking for fucking trouble. Brother-in-law is a fucking douchebag.
Yeah.
You don't agree into something like that. And maybe he didn't know and he formed this weird connection thinking well, it's mine. I produced that. Well, guess what, buddy? You agreed in the first place that you were just a donor and you're totally overstepping your bounds, in my opinion. Now, wife and wife, those two, that couple, they're fucking dumb.
What?
They're fucking dumb. You don't go and ask your brother-in-law, oh, hey, Cliff, my wife needs your sperm.
Oh, I totally would.
No, absolutely not.
Well, it's her brother. So it's her
Yeah.
brother, but it's OP's brother-in-law. So it's the two siblings. And it's
love
like the
that
weird.
It's the same situation of the story.
It's the same exact setup.
And
That's
I
why
was like-
I picked it. I'm like, I'm going to put Matt back in it again.
I'm like, I'm totally cool with this. Like, especially he
dumb.
agreed
It's
to
dumb.
it. There's, I think it's beautiful.
No,
I
as
think
far
a
as
lot
that
of it.
situation.
I think a lot of it is like this couple is like they want, like OP says here, her family gets their genes passed on. Like the family has a thing with an obsession actually with passing on the family genes.
Royalty.
Maybe. Or eugenics, or just you want to know where your kids come from so you know your family history and any hereditary issues.
True.
But I mean, with DNA testing, you can also analyze genetics, and I think a lot of donation places do that. Actually, they analyze the sperm
They
for
were
genetic
asking
stuff.
for it. You're asking for trouble. Just go to the sperm bank, get the sperm tested.
You don't
figure it
really
out.
know where that sperm is coming from. I would much rather know that there's, no history of
I'd rather fly
or
somewhere in the country or out of the country and you go bang somebody that you don't know, you're never ever going to see again. You have no complications at that point.
Oh, but she's infertile. The sister was infertile.
And there's potential for so many complications at that point. Oh my God.
STDs, HIV.
Let's court this individual then.
I have heard of people like, I don't know if it was Reddit or wherever it was, and I've probably mentioned it before, but of like a lesbian couple going to the bar and being like, whoever gets knocked up first, like, yay.
And then they're both knocked up. Oh, shoot.
I mean, good
Two
for
babies.
them, but
Double trouble, more fun.
if that's like what they're comfortable with, but I totally am not weirded out by that whole situation, especially if they went through the counseling, they went through all the steps.
That's
I
a
don't
good
know
point.
where the brother is coming from being like now, like, oh, this is now my child. Like,
It's weird.
I feel like there is an insecurity that he has or something that does he have kids of his own? Is he wanting kids of his own? Is he feeling like he's not like as far along in life or whatever?
I mean, he
should
is
be.
married. 'Cause
Why is
Oh
sister-in-law
yeah, he has a
upset?
sister-in-law.
Like, why is sister-in-law going crazy? Like, does she want claim over this baby
Well,
as
let me read the edits because it does mention the sister-in-law connection. So edit number 1, we don't know where mother-in-law stands. She expressed that brother-in-law was out of line, but has also said that he is technically the father. Fucking bitch.
So when you donate something, like if I'm gonna donate something to say
Goodwill?
Goodwill or something, and somebody else like takes it from Goodwill, it's no longer mine. It's yours.
That's the perfect analogy.
It's yours. It's not mine anymore. I'm giving it. When you give something away, it's gone. And
I
it's
agree, but the complexity changes when you're throwing some genetic makeup out into the universe.
but it was a conscious choice.
Still, you still feel like it's part of you. It is half your genes in that little.
So what's wrong with being an uncle?
Nothing. I didn't say the brother-in-law is right. I think he's an idiot.
Yeah.
so
me
Matt
too.
can never donate sperm.
No. He's also told me I can't be a surrogate.
What if I want one? We
No.
only share a mom. It wouldn't be that weird.
It's not.
Matt is so uncomfortable
I'd
It's
rather
right
not
now.
pay.
even
I'd
about-
rather pay Amy than a stranger.
You don't have to pay me.
Yeah, I would. And she
I'll
does
find-
so good.
find somebody else for you,
she does
Morgan.
so good pregnant.
Nope.
You have fun. She glows.
No, it's not. This is not to be taken as an insult right now. I don't know how to phrase this appropriately.
God.
But
Maybe don't say it.
I don't want you to be pregnant again.
I know
Like,
our relationship
pregnancy is
suffers
fucking
when I am
miserable
when
for
I am pregnant
both
because I am
parties.
so tired.
This is why I don't want to do it.
Okay, it's great for in some aspects. Like you get to feel the baby kick. That's cool, but body changes, crabbiness, emotional, hormonal changes.
Which are all
can-
okay.
all okay. That's great. And it's a great experience.
You just don't want to go through it again.
I just don't want to go through it again.
poor Matt.
We almost got our life back. 4 and 2. We might even sleep through the night one day.
Someday.
It's coming.
I think the greatest thing you've ever said. Me and Mom walked in your house the other day, and you had not one kid but 2 kids crying and losing their minds, and we like walk in and we're like, what's wrong? And you go, oh, no big deal. We all just hate each other right now. You were just like ready to just rip out.
I'm at the end of the rope right now.
We are a 2-kid family.
2-kid family.
I think 2 kids is a good number.
2 dogs, 800 square foot house, people.
850.
Woo!
If we were in New
That's
York, that would be like a
modest.
mansion.
Oh my God.
It probably would be like $5,000 a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Okay,
It's
so
good.
Amy
It's
can't be
good.
my surrogate.
Bummer.
So
I would do it for you.
the rest of the update. Mother-in-law steps out once she senses any conflict. That's why she wasn't making any contact. Many people are going after my mother-in-law, but she's been essentially on my wife and I's side. It's my father-in-law that wanted the genes to be passed on. Edit 2. Also, sister-in-law is my wife's sister, not my brother-in-law's wife. Brother-in-law's wife isn't in close contact with us, so I'm not sure she even knows what's going on. Kind of goofy.
You
I
can.
do need that whiteboard with the chart.
Yeah.
can-
Yeah, okay.
I
Family
got it.
tree.
I got it all figured out
Alright.
now. You can cut negativity. You can cut all these people out of your lives, and you shouldn't be upset. If they're ruining your life, fuck them.
Cut contact.
Be happy. Go worry about your own shit. Don't worry about them. Move on. Mm-hmm. Move across the country.
But talk about
probably
it.
is not gonna-
Communicate. I mean,
Whatever.
Yeah.
but if you can't come to a resolution, I mean, ultimately it's up to what's best for the child.
Yeah.
And mother-in-law, she encouraged it in the first place, right? From the first story, she brought the idea to him. I would drag her right back into it and be like, "Hey, you better speak up, lady."
Yeah, mother-in-law did suggest we do IVF using my eggs and brother-in-law's sperm
There you
and
go.
let my wife carry the baby. So for her to kind of, bury her head in the sand and not make eye contact when all of this is happening, like that's when you need the people who are supposed to be your advocates in life to step up and be like, you know what, Sonny boy, you're wrong. This is just 23 chromosomes and you need to sit down and shut the fuck up. If you want a baby, you know where your wife is. If she's on board, you talk to her and go home and make your own.
Boom.
Boom.
Yeah, OP does respond a lot. A lot. I'm just trying to scroll through the comments real fast to see if there's any good ones I want to mention.
I want to know the update. Where are we at with the story?
There's no update. There's no official second post for an update. This was posted about a month ago, so I'm sure things are still really developing.
Yep. And holidays, it's messy.
I'm sure there is going to be an update soon because holidays always stress things out.
You can get us on 3.0. We'll circle back.
Yeah. Yeah, no official update. And I mean, there's so many comments. It's really hard to get through and pinpoint what the best ones are. But I think the fact that they talked to counselors, got him to sign away his rights. I mean, they went through everything in the proper way. So for him to pull this card out of nowhere, not even when the baby was born either. It's the 1-year birthday. It's kind of well, are you going through some shit and you feel like this is your last
That's
shot?
what I think is going on.
Yeah.
He's got some personal stuff. He needs to go to a counselor.
Yeah, I would agree with that for sure. Top comment on this one. Wow. Just wow. I'm inclined to believe that mother-in-law has already had at least one conversation about this with your brother-in-law because she stayed silent. I cannot stress this enough. I hope you have your ducks in a row from a legal perspective because it sounds like a huge dumpster fire. I'm really sorry you're both facing this situation. However, I find comfort in knowing that you're facing it together. I'm just looking to see if there's anything else.
How stressful. Parenting is hard enough.
It
Jeez.
is. It really is. And people were mean on this. The one comment I did see from OP that I'm okay, fuck you, whoever wrote this. But someone was someone called her essentially the quote, some other lady. So they go, everyone sucks here. He should have approached it more calmly. But yes, absolutely, he still is the father. A shit father for signing away his rights, but the father nonetheless. Quote, you aren't the father, you just provided sperm.
They wouldn't have picked him. They wouldn't have chosen him had he
not signed away his
not
rights.
agreed to do that. There was a...
Yeah.
Oh, people are so dumb.
People on the internet are fucking wild some days. Yeah, that's what the father's biological function is. You're all kind of assholes to the kid for all being present in his life, and yet his real mom didn't carry him. Some other lady is also another mom, and she carried him. And his dad signed away his parental rights before the kid could speak. But he's just fucking there.
That person needs to go take a nap.
They're unhinged. They need to be locked in a padded cell. OP responds, though, what the fuck? My wife and I are his parents. She's not, quote, some other lady. Brother-in-law only provided his sperm so that my wife and I could start a family, and the in-laws could be satisfied too. He knew he wouldn't be the father in any way but biologically. My wife is more of a parent than he will ever be. Someone goes, is it possible for a commenter to be the asshole?
Oh, yes, the commenter is the asshole of the story.
Absolutely.
And the brother.
Fuck that brother-in-law. That's their baby. And maybe you're right, Matt. Maybe they shouldn't have gone with him, but, just, knowing where your
for
child...
anybody listening out there that's going to think about doing this, you're adding so much complication
dynamics,
to the mix.
Okay,
because
I will get on board with that.
Yeah.
People
Everybody
have
has emotions.
emotions, and they change their mind, and they have feelings, and guess what? Feelings change over time. That brother-in-law at the time was probably like, yeah, fuck, I'll give you my sperm, whatever. And then,
no big deal.
And then, like...
he sees the baby.
10 months later, baby comes out, and it's like...
and he looks like him.
Oh, that's my kid. What did I do?
Yeah.
And now he's having some buyer's remorse. He's a fucking idiot. Simple as that.
I wonder what the process is for sperm banks these days too, because I feel like wasn't there an episode of Friends where like Joey Tribbiani tries to donate sperm to make money or something like
Never
that?
saw it.
Yeah, I think there was, and I know what you're talking about. I'm not a huge Friends person.
Yeah.
Good show, but no, I can't recall the details.
I do wonder, like, if they were to go to a sperm bank, or if any of the listeners out there have like done this for themselves and like could comment, that'd be great. But just like, what are the steps to get approved? Because I think like the argument too, like, okay, they could have done an easier option, like a sperm bank or whatever, but it is nice kind of knowing where your juices are coming from and like all that.
Sounds like a stand-up guy. No. Perfect.
Okay, moving along to
On to the next.
a less complex problem.